Walker Griffon is sleeping it off on this week's episode of Implicit Bias. Yeah, Walker, we're going to throw you under the bus. Especially the fact that you had it so bad that you legitimately can't sample weekly whiskey with us here on this episode. What do you have to say for yourself? I mean, you did this in front of your girlfriend, fiance, which one is it?
Girlfriend.
You sure about that?
Yeah. I am.
I'm okay. This is Implicit Bias. I'm your host, Kavan Bordelon. I'm not trying to get Walker in trouble because we know that Kennedy's listening. Kennedy, if you're listening, you can take it out on him later. We have with you a great crew here in the TSPL for you this week. Sitting at the bar, the Mr. Lester's TSPL Guests of the Week, and I guess that I didn't rename that. That just happened. We have Brian Harmon of Dupree Carrier Gottschall, and we have Rene Girard, Louisiana's only master tobacconist from Piper's Haven. Gentlemen, how are you all this afternoon? And we're actually recording on an afternoon so we can kind of get ahead on some episodes and have some more fun.
It's great. We're day drinking again.
I was waiting on somebody to call that out. I was like, we're actually, that's the real secret. We just wanted to do this during the middle of the day because holidays happen and you get that opportunity, if you know what I mean. Caleb Morse, who has brought his own glass today.
Yes, I did.
You did? Are you excited about your Rock Heavy tumbler over there in matte black?
This is I love it because it reminds me of I think it was Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're looking
Last
for
Crusade.
And when they're looking for the chalice, Christ chalice. Because when I look down at it, I'm like, it's unassuming, and then you get this beautiful golden color.
And that would be called the Grail, Christ chalice.
Yeah. Sorry. Look, I was a child when that came out.
Oh, please. You're still a child. We have a lot of great stuff to tend to this week. We also have some great weekly whiskeys. You can actually see our weekly whiskey on the bar. So I want to start there because this weekly whiskey is one that typically, and I'm going to kind of give away for the What Would You Pay championship belt chain from Box Drop a little bit of a hint here. Barrel bourbon is a whiskey that you will typically pay a C note for. I mean, pretty much everything they roll out is in the $100 range, somewhere around that, and that's usually where it starts. Barrel has decided to do a little bit of change with regards to how they offer their distillate. They are now selling and offering a 5-year whiskey, and it's a little bit more affordable. Now, we've had some barrel offerings here on the show. So, Caleb, you actually have it written on the Implicit Bias Whiskey Tasting Journal. Tell us a little bit about this 5-year offering from Barrel.
So it's 100 proof. This is a standard 750. It's a blended, right? Well, I think most of Barrel stuff's all blended.
Yep.
They do offer, I think, a single barrel as well. It's to be a blue label, maybe.
Depends.
But on the nose, man, it's really thin, fleeting on the nose. It's like whenever you consider that you're going to go to, I might go camping next week. No, I changed my mind. That's how much of the woods it smells like, you know? Maybe even a little bit of light brown sugar.
Yeah.
On the nose, and then on the palate, it's soft, it's delicate, but it's thin. Then I get hints of black pepper, a little spice in the middle palate, followed by like a soft, like watered down vanilla. So it's not a lot of vanilla that I'm getting. I'm not getting caramel or anything else, but I'm getting like a very soft, thin vanilla, not overpowering at all, and it doesn't linger long. This would be a good one to bring Thanksgiving, which was yesterday for us now. This would have been a great one to bring out there to have a lot of family members try, to have them partake in, that it's not overly aggressive even at 100 proof. This would be a good, every person's drinker.
So in your opinion, would this be good to sit Walker down and tell him, let's have a cigar, let's finish a bottle, make him drink till he pukes? I'm just hypothetically saying that could happen.
It would be very easy for that to happen, especially with Walker, because apparently it doesn't take much to twist his arm.
Yeah,
Just tell him you can't date my daughter unless you pass out. So.
All right, let's go to the bar, see what the gentlemen at the bar think. Who wants to start off on this one?
This one is I like this one a lot better than the other two barrels we had. A couple of years ago, we did some barrels, and they were like rocket fuel. This one is very drinkable to me. It's very smooth, more in my wheelhouse. I really do like this one. And like all the descriptors that Caleb said, all the flavors in that, yep, it's there. It's light and good to drink.
So I actually am with you here, Renee. I get, and for those who don't didn't catch those episodes where we had those whiskeys. By the way, you can go back and find them on our socials. Anywhere where you get podcasts, please go subscribe, hit the follow, like button, all that stuff. It helps the show, helps bring more of us to you if that's what you like. But we actually did a couple of barrels on the show that we had one that was a hazmat, one that was 140 and change. We had another one that was 130 and change. Yeah. So the proof on those was significantly different than this 100 proof.
Well, and the price was significantly different too.
Yes, yeah. We actually gave a bottle of that away, which was really cool. And the person who won that absolutely adored it.
And you had to give him a $10.99 with that one too because it was so expensive.
Yeah, almost. Almost. All right, Mr. Harmon, what are you thinking?
I agree with what Renee said completely. I wasn't a part of the tasting those shows where y'all tried the barrel proof, but that was my early exposure. That was my same experience with.
Yeah, keep convincing yourself of that. We just didn't like you enough to invite you to that show.
There's some reasons about it. I won't get into on air, but
kidding.
I like this one a whole lot. But my first time, I've kind of swore off barrel. I didn't care for the first couple of bottles I tried. I never bothered bringing something into the house. Didn't like the oaky, spiciness to what I had tried. But this one's easy drinker, just like Caleb said. It would be something I would share with people that aren't really accustomed to bourbon. It's easy drinking.
I actually am going to disagree with Caleb on a couple of points here, just as far as how it hits my palate.
My.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't think this is thin. I don't think this is thin at all. I get really nice caramel flavors on this mid-palate. I don't get a lot front of the palate, but mid-palate, I get nice caramel flavors. I do get that light vanilla, but not necessarily thin. And I get a nice long finish off of this. This sits on the palate for me for a while before I need or even necessarily want another sip. To me, this is, and I haven't said it in a while, this is bourbony McBourbon to me. When I think about bourbon and the flavors that I expect and the profile that I expect, this hits every single note that I'm looking for. And at 100 proof, it's enough, but it's also not overdone. It's not underdone. This, to me, is proofed really well. And Barrel has a really nice tradition almost of blending things at an exceptional level. I don't think this falls off of that at all. I think this upholds that tradition, and it shows a really nice offering from Barrel, in especially to your point, for people who might be new, as well as people who really like bourbon, who have been around it for a while. This, to me, is a consistent, easy drinker that hits just right.
So, Kavan, what you're saying, this is Goldilocks whiskey?
It almost
right.
is.
Yeah.
It almost is. This is, if you're solely a proof hound, it might not be enough.
No.
Well, and even then, if it's not enough, it's still delicious. It's still very
yeah.
good, you know?
It's
and
very
that's-
drinkable. It's very good.
That's what I like about all the other barrels is the robustness of flavor. I like that high proof. I like what you're getting. And this one, I'm not chasing anything, but perhaps it is my own bias.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not chasing anything. It's there. I would just like more prevalent. But this, like I said, is a good every person drinker.
And that's the other side. So if you're a proof hound and that's all you are, this might not be enough. If you really don't like high proof whiskeys, this might be what starts to get you there. Because this at 100 proof starts to actually drink like about a 105 to me to a 107. I get a little more of the bite with this that you don't get with a 90 or a 95 or something like that a lot of times. So I find this exceptionally well balanced.
Well, and maybe by my second glass, I'll have a different opinion.
Or your third or your fourth or
Well,
your
you
fifth, which is what happens here in the Top Secret Podcast.
That's what
where-
happens. And
Yeah.
Walker's not partaking, so someone's got to drink his portion.
No, I see Walker has got a, you know it's bad. Okay, this is fun. You know it's bad when Walker's got a bottle of water and he is gingerly sipping the bottle of water.
I bet he didn't even wake up at 5 o'clock this morning.
Oh, I guarantee he didn't wake up at 5 o'clock this morning because I texted him at about 9:30 or so, and it was like 10:30 before he's like, yeah, I'm going to get that done. It's coming out this morning. It might have been a little earlier than that I texted, but normally when I text Walker, and this is why Walker is a lot of times a credit to his generation, when I text Walker, especially if I know it's during business hours, I do my best not to text like when it's Kennedy time. So I try, I try to make sure that I text him during business hours, and he's almost always Johnny on the spot. He's go ahead and text me back. This morning I was like, oh, I wonder how Walker's feeling this morning. Like the thought crossed my mind
Well, and
when it took him that long.
he and you had a recent celebration, so I'm surprised you're not a little hungover as well.
I've just been doing this long enough. I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's
valid.
the good and the bad part.
You probably had to get an IV anyway, so
No IVs.
well,
no
Kavan's a
IVs.
grown up. He knows better now.
you know what?
Walker hadn't learned that lesson yet.
I think what Kavan has is it's Centrum Silver is what gets you. That's the cure for his hangover.
Hey, whatever works, right? Whatever works. That I'm willing to do any of it. It does not matter. And Renee, I appreciate you for saying I'm a grown up because that is highly debatable. You can ask my wife.
Well, yeah, but I mean, grown up in age, not in height.
This is true too. This is absolutely true. No doubt. No doubt. Look, I'm happy to be 5'8" on a good day. I embrace 5'8" on a good day. Some of us were not blessed with good looks or a fully functioning brain, right? Some of us need to be, yes, it's from the water boy. Some of us just have to embrace what we've got and work with that. And that's what we do. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and start to work with what we've got in our glasses. Rate this on the Morse Whiskey rating code. Is it a red? I wouldn't drink it even if it was free. Is it a yellow? I would only drink it if it was free. Is it a green? I would buy this. Or is it a blue? I would seek this out. Let's start at the bar. Who wants to go first? Renee?
This one I'd definitely give a blue to.
Okay.
I like this one. It's very smooth. It's not rocket fuel, which, you know, my wheelhouse is normally 95 to 110 proof. The flavors are just great on this one. And I can tell you right now, Walker's rating this one a red because he won't drink it, and it is free.
Yeah, and Walker won't drink anything right now, so everything's a red. All right, Mr. Harmon.
I'm a blue as well. I don't have a bullet in the collection. I think this will be the bottle that I actually seek
You mean a
out.
barrel?
A barrel.
Come on,
excuse me.
Triple H.
Sorry.
Come on, Triple H.
But it's a solid blue for me.
Yeah. Okay. Caleb?
It's a green. This is a green for me. Like I've had their other stuff, and to me, those are blues. This is a green. This is a good one down the middle. A great way to just open the door to a really bad habit.
Well, that tells me that it's a blue.
No.
Yes. This to me.
Because if this is next to the other one, I'm gonna buy their other bottle at probably double the price.
Caleb, let's be honest. You're buying both bottles.
Yeah. Well-
Let's be very honest.
And it's more like quadruple the price.
Yeah.
You know,
well, okay. So I'm gonna finish the rating here. I gotta give this a blue. I do, and here's why. It hits all the notes. Is it perfection maybe in any of the notes? Not quite, but it balances out everything else so well that this to me is one that you could give to an experienced bourbon drinker, somebody who drinks it a lot. You can give to somebody who is just getting into the game, somebody who says, I don't think I like bourbon. You can give it to somebody who says, well, I like rye. I don't think I like bourbons. Anybody could drink this and enjoy it. To me, that is why this is a blue, and it will go into and be a part of Deep Blue, the Implicit Bias Infinity bottle, which you can get at William S. Nacol Jewelers. They have the Waterford Crystal, which we may need to find and whip out here at some point on the show, just so people can see it, because it's getting to that time, and a lot of our whiskey drinkers are looking for stuff like that. So we know that it's a blue. Now the question is, what would you pay for the winner of the What Would You Pay Championship Belt chain? So Renee, if you would hold up the box drop, what would you pay championship belt chain here in the Mr. Lester's Top Secret podcast lair? And Renee, we're gonna let you go first. What would you pay?
This one I'm looking at 85.
$85. Let's stay at the bar. Triple H.
I'm gonna say 52 based off of the information, the little hints you had dropped earlier.
Okay, so he's using not necessarily what he thinks of the liquid, but the hints that I dropped. I get that. Walker, you want to play?
Yeah, I'll play.
No, you don't get to play because you're not drinking. Caleb.
I agree with Renee. I think it's like I think it drinks like $85, $90. But man, $68.
So the What Would You Pay Championship Belt Chain sticks with our WWE member of the crew this week. This is a $52.99 bottle of whiskey
That's redonkulous.
at our weekly whiskey partners. Yes, so Triple H, you get to put it on.
Thank
you
you.
get to wear the What Would You Pay championship belt chain presented by Box Drop of Lafayette. What now?
I have to say, he didn't come out and say $50-something, but it was anybody else listening? I was.
I was.
Okay.
No, I said
no,
it's around
we
50
don't
is what I
ever
actually
listen
said.
to Kavan.
You
No.
know, I didn't know you were an adjuster too. Okay.
I don't listen to me, so it's okay. It's quite all right. I don't listen to me. Nobody listens to me. Apparently, you did, and see, you get to wear the belt chain because of it. But that goes well.
Nailed it.
We need some like walk-up music for him on the show when that happens. Like we need Triple H's walk-up music, or like the D-Generation X music.
Look, I'm going to hijack the show for a minute because I've been adamantly and I've voiced it. I don't like the Triple H, but a name. I was against it at first, but something was brought to my attention specifically about the man. And Walker, get ready. I think it's allowed, but he is credited with basically the suck it that we all know and love.
Oh, yeah.
So you
yeah.
know what? I'm okay with that. I respect that.
And you know what we got for you? I got 2 words for
I
you.
know it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so well, him and Shawn Michaels were the ones I think who originally started that whole, we got 2 words for you, and we know where that leads. Which means we got 2 words for you on this segment of Implicit Bias, which is actually more than 2. We'll be right back because we've awarded the What Would You Pay championship belt chain. We have awarded a blue to this barrel 5-year-old bourbon whiskey. We're going to talk about why pretty matters when we come back on this week's episode of Implicit Bias.